Good morning, everybody. Matt Modi here to give you my favorite MLB home run predictions for today. We're talking Friday, June 27th. Happy Friday, everybody. The Dong Report is back in your life, and I absolutely loved the Dong slate for today. I love the home run board. So I did take more guys than I normally do. I have 12 for you guys to lock in. And normally when I spray the board, I go between 7 and 10. But I didn't want to limit myself today, so I did end up going with 12. I'm very, very confident in the plays that we have. Since we have a lot, let's get through everything quickly. To do a recap from yesterday, we're obviously not going to skip that. Not a great one. Did not get any of our 8 guys to hit a home run. All 8 of them played. No 8 of them hit a home run. It was a tough day yesterday. On the entire season, that now brings our losses to 4.5 units. But we were really good heading in to yesterday. We've had a really, really nice run over the last week or so. Since the spray the board strategy over the past week, really targeting juicy pitching and weather matchups has gone well. So we have another week. This next week, like we had last week, we'll be mostly in the green on, I think we'll be in the green on the year based on how the odds shook out and stuff. So I'm very, very confident in that. And the reason I like the weather slate so much is because it's a really good combination of juicy weather games and juicy pitching matchups. We see a lot of games in the green here, according to Ballpark Pal. I have a play in every single game in the green except for this one in the Brewers game because there are no odds out for that game. So hard to have a play. And another thing that I really, really like is there's mostly agreement between Ballpark Pal and Weather Edge. A lot of the games that are green on Ballpark Pal are green on Weather Edge as well. Like the Reds game, amazing stadium, good from a weather perspective, 4 home runs. The Guardians game is good for both. Braves game is good for both. White Sox and Giants is good for both. The Angels is one where it's mostly neutral according to Weather Edge, but it's positive according to Ballpark Pal, mostly because the stadium is positive. They also have it mostly neutral from a weather perspective. But this is all to say that it's a really, really good slate today. So, if there are some guys that you like, today's the day. Again, lower your unit size, of course, but today's the day to go for it. And let's get right into it. So I'm just going to get started. The first 3 guys that we have are all in the Braves-Phillies game, and they're all on the Braves. So I went with Austin Riley to hit a home run. I went with Ronald Acuna Jr. to hit a home run, and I went with Matt Olson to hit a home run. I took all 3 of them to hit a home run. The odds on them are admittedly pretty stinky. Acuna Jr. is 320. Austin Riley's 360, and Matt Olson is actually 260 is the best offer price for him at Fanatics. Really stinky odds, but for good reason. And, the pitcher for the Phillies, Mick Abel, had a really nice start to the year. But 2 of his last 3 starts have been just dreadful. He gave up 4 home runs in his last start against the Mets. 3 home runs, 2 starts prior to that to the Cubs. So you look at his stats on the year. Home run every 13 at-bats is bad. All his numbers across the board. Fly ball rate, plus line drive rate, bad. Hard hit rate, bad. Barrel rate, bad. Now, I will admit, if you're only wanting to choose one of these guys, he is admittedly worse against lefties. You see all those numbers are even worse against left-handed hitters, so that definitely leads you to Matt Olson. But even though the home runs haven't quite been there, he's definitely not good against right-handed hitters. The hard hit rate is terrible. The fly ball rate is high, and the K rate is low. So I do think that he is susceptible to give up the long ball to righties as well. And I'm just choosing the 3 hottest hitters on the Braves. Olson, hard hits are there, but the barrels are not. But the the pull rate and the fly ball rate are both high. Riley's been hitting the crap out of the baseball the last 3 days. The last couple days, you look at him. I would go into it if I didn't have 12 guys to talk about, but the long flyouts for Riley have been disgusting. He's ready to hit a home run. And then Acuna has continued to just hit the absolute crap out of the baseball. All of them have over 1 hard hit per game over the last 7 days with multiple barrels between Riley and Acuna. Then again, Olson, the home runs are going to come. His launch angle is up compared to what it is on the average. So the home runs are going to come for him. And we're targeting a very, very, very juicy pitching matchup against Mick Abel. So that's plays 1, 2, and 3. Next up, play number 4, I'm going with Ketel Marte to hit a home run. We're actually getting a really good price on him at ESPN Bet at $475. I believe that might have changed, but you can still get $450 at Hard Rock. So if you look at Marte, you can still get $450 at Hard Rock. So just want to be clear, those of you that use Hard Rock Sportsbook, you can get $450 there. If not, I'm still good with plus 400 at Bet365 and ESPN Bet. Now, the thing with Ketel Marte is instead of targeting a very juicy pitching and weather matchup, we're just targeting the hottest hitter in baseball. What Ketel Marte has been doing at the plate recently is absolutely insane. He has got 8 barrels in the last 7 days. That is ridiculous, especially when you consider the fact that they didn't play yesterday. So he's got 8 barrels in 6 games. The hard hits admittedly aren't there, but when you're consistently barreling the ball up, like your average EV is 95, your fly ball rate is 2/3 of the time it's a fly ball, your pull rate's above 50%, that's absolutely absurd. The guy's red hot at the plate, so he's playing at home in Arizona, which is a dome stadium, which doesn't have, it's not an amazing hitter's park. And the pitcher he's going up against is admittedly good, Yuri Perez. He's only made 3 starts this year, but he hasn't given up a home run in those 3 starts. He's not really pitching that deep in the games. Like, he's not going to go more than 5 innings. And his barrel rate and hard hit rate are not anybody to be scared of. So this is more backing literally the hottest hitter in baseball. I mean, what he's been doing at the plate is insane. You just go through his numbers. Wow, Fangraphs is going to take forever to load. But you just see here the barrels, the pull rate, the hard hit, or excuse me, the fly ball rate, and all that stuff is really, really impressive. And then again, I'm not totally scared off of the pitcher. Of course, this stuff isn't loading because that's how Fangraphs works. But yeah, you can kind of see like the barrel rate's going up, the hard hits rate is going up for Yuri Perez, as you can see, barrel in each of his last 2 games, hard hit rate gone up to 41%, which again, these are not terrible numbers by any means, but it's definitely not a hitter to be scared of. And Ketel Marte, again, he didn't play yesterday, but just look, 3 barrels, 2 barrels, and then a barrel in 3 straight games. He's just red hot, and I want to keep riding that when he's red hot. So that is play number 4, is Ketel Marte to hit a home run. Next up, we're going with Seiya Suzuki for very, very similar logic. He is going up against a left-handed pitcher, Brandon Walter. Now, there's not a ton of data on Brandon Walter, and he's admittedly been worse against lefties than he has against righties. But again, his numbers against righties across the board are not anything to be scared of. The Astros also play in a dome. And the thing with Seiya Suzuki, he's also been really good recently. 14 hard hits in the last 7 days. So basically 2 a game. And he didn't even play yesterday. 6 barrels. That's really, really good. But the biggest thing for him is he just annihilates left-handed pitching. So you look at his ISO rate on the year against lefties, 359. I mean, against righties is still really good. So let me be very clear. He's good against both. But against lefties, you just see dramatically how much better every single number across the board is. So that's why we're going with Seiya Suzuki. It's not an amazing weather game. It's a decent pitching matchup, but it's a red-hot batter. And we get the lefty matchup for Seiya Suzuki. So that's why we are going with him. That is play number, I believe that was 5. And he's also got an okay price at $420 at FanDuel. That's not a terrible price. Actually, excuse me, $425 at DraftKings is the best offered price. Not terrible. Above 400, I consider decent odds. And so, yeah, that's play number 5. Next up, I got 2 players in the Cardinals game. I'm going with Brendan Donovan and Alec Burleson, taking both of them to hit a home run. This is a situation where it is both a juicy pitching matchup and a very good weather game. As you can see here, it's hot. It's in the it's winds blowing out, double-digit mile-per-hour winds blowing out of the stadium at the first 2 hours of the game, and it's in the mid-80s. So it's hot and windy. That's going to help with carry. So from weather perspective, it's a very, very good game at Progressive Field, which is, and there is agreement on Ballpark Pal. Not quite as much agreement, but still agreement on Weather Edge, which is good. The pitcher, Luis L. Ortiz, is pitching for the Guardians. He's not a great pitcher in general, and he really struggles against lefties. So you see on the year, he's allowed 2 home runs to righties, home run every 77 at-bats. Against lefties, 8 home runs, a home run every 19 and a half at-bats. So home run every 20 at-bats, that's bad. And his numbers across the board against lefties are very, very bad. Barrel rate, bad. Hard hit rate, bad. Line drive plus fly ball rate, bad. And you look at these 2 hitters on the Cardinals, they're both hitting really, really well. Brendan Donovan, 15 hard hits in the last 7 days. That is really, really good. Brendan Donovan, 11 hard hits in the last 7 days, 4 barrels. 4 barrels for Donovan, 5 for Burleson over the last week. Even if you go back to the last 2 weeks, Burleson, 28 hard hits in the last 14 days with 8 barrels. That's really, really good. With Brendan Donovan, the hard hits have more come in the last week than the last 14 days. But again, 5 barrels in that stretch is also really, really good. They're both left-handed hitters, which is the most important thing here. Going up against Luis L. Ortiz, who we know we want to target left-handed hitters against in what is a very, very good weather game. Checks all 3 boxes. That's good to go. This is what? Plays number 7 and 8, 5 and 6, 6 and 7, whatever it is. I should give you the odds on them real quick. So the Alec Burleson is plus 340 at FanDuel, and Brandon Donovan is 475 at Bet365. Those are the odds that you can get on both of those guys. Moving on, we got we got a guy on the Giants. Then we're moving on. Willy Adames. We're taking him to hit a home run. He's got another decent price at 440 at FanDuel. I will say this was, I think, number one, the highest positive expected value play on the board, strictly from a odds shopping perspective. You look 440 at FanDuel, 325 Bet365, 300 Caesars, 315 Fanatics, 350 DraftKings, 375 ESPN Bet. No book is at 400. FanDuel's at 440. So that's really good. This is another really good weather game. I think it was the best combined game, or second best, taking out. I mean, Red Stadium is just amazing, but it's the second best weather game of the day. Weather plus stadium, I guess I should say. It's hot, windy, winds blowing out, double-digit mile-per-hour winds blowing out in a stadium that is receptive to wind. And it's not quite as hot as some other games, but I guess in the 80s with low barometric pressure, which is going to help with carry. So that number is important. And Willy Adames, so 2 things here. The pitcher is Aaron Savale, pitching for the White Sox. If you look at on the year, he's not terrible. And you look at the year, it looks like he's actually kind of equally worse against righties and lefties. But the thing against the lefties, I think he gave up 3 home runs in his first start against lefties. So if you just look at his last 5 starts, he hasn't given up a single home run to lefties. Home run numbers across the board are really good. Whereas against righties, it's a home run every 20 at-bats. Sinker, slider, four-seam fastball. But you see the numbers are not terrible across the board. They're more so below average as opposed to terrible, but definitely not something to be scared off of. And then you look at Willy Adames. Getting him out of Giant Stadium is very, very important. He's been hitting the ball really well. Now, I will admit Devers also was doing a good job barreling the ball up and hitting it hard. The odds on Devers are just terrible. Like, I couldn't stomach 220 for Rafael Devers. If odds, like, this is kind of where I draw the line in terms of odds. At like 220 for somebody that's not named Shohei Ohtani, Cal Raleigh, Aaron Judge, Kyle Schwarber, stuff like that. At 220, it's just a little bit too gross. If it was like 250, I would have considered it. But Adames has been really good. 18 hard hits over the last 14 days. 10 hard hits over the last week. Now, only 1 barrel, but the fly ball rate is definitely lower than what you would like. But the pull rate in 80% is just ridiculous. And that average exit velocity is really, really good. So that's why I feel comfortable with Adames. It doesn't quite check every box, but it does check a lot of boxes. And then again, the highest play on the board, strictly from a line shopping perspective, which isn't everything, but it is something. All right, so we got 4 left. 2 of them, we got 2 in 2 games. Is kind of how it's going. 2 Angels, Logan O'Hoppe, taking him to hit a home run. Joe Adell, taking him to hit a home run. Now, Adell came through for us on Wednesday. We went with O'Hoppe on Wednesday, but he didn't play, so we just got that refunded. So Jake Irvin is on the mound for the Nats. Jake Irvin is admittedly worse against lefties. The Angels don't really have any lefties that can hit. It's really Yoan Moncada, and I think he's hurt. You can see that, like, home runs is kind of average. Granted, this is over the last 5 starts, but we'll stick here. You see, like, the barrel rate, hard hit rate numbers are all really, really bad against lefties. They're not quite as bad against righties, but still nothing really to be scared off of. And he is still allowing a home run every 21 at-bats. That's his last 5 starts. You look at the entire year. Again, it's nothing really to be scared off of from a right-handed hitter. The pitch mix is where it is very good, specifically for Joe Adell. You look at, Joe Adell's been on fire over the last month. He's hit 8 home runs against righties over the last month. And you look at, let's just stick with the curveball and the slider. We'll take out the four-seam fastball for now. Look at his numbers against those 2 pitches. Granted, he strikes out a lot. I will admit that. But 21% barrel rate, 70% hard hit rate is insane. And then the four-seamer is also really good, which is with the biggest home run pitch for Jake Irvin. And it's funny, his sinker is the most common pitch, and he hasn't allowed a sinker home run to a righty this year. But the other 3 doesn't throw as much. Those all get sent to the moon. So especially the four-seamer, which Adell just has incredible numbers against. And then you go to the Angels, kind of looking at the same stuff that I've been looking at. hard hits last 7 days. 8 for Adele is not amazing, but 3 barrels is pretty impressive. Also, Logan O'Hoppe has 3 barrels, and he actually has a barrel in 3 straight games. So O'Hoppe doesn't look as good if you look at the last 7 and last 14 days. But again, the barrels have all come recently. And then Adele, 15 hard hits in the last 14 days is okay. It's fine. And then 6 barrels is really, really impressive. So I like both those guys, Adele and O'Hoppe, to hit a home run. I consider Trout, but the odds on him, like 285, is something that I would consider. Like I have 2 guys, the next 2 guys we'll talk about, are both at worse odds than 285. But for Trout, who isn't amazingly hot, like if he was just ripping the ball, then I'll consider it. But, 3 hard hits and no barrels in the last 7 days, to me, is not worth plus 280 odds, in my opinion. So that's plays number 1, 9 and 10. So my last 2 plays here are, and I'll admit, I debated these 2 guys a lot. These are the last 2 guys that I locked in. I went back and forth on Jackson Merrill and Fernando Tatis Jr. Now, if odds didn't exist, these guys would be no-brainers. The problem is odds do exist, and they're about as low as I'm willing to go. Jackson Merrill's at 255. Bet365 is at 260. Again, I went back and forth on these guys because the odds, especially for Jackson Merrill, who's been ice cold for like 2 months, 275 on him feels gross. But when you dig into it, it's a little more acceptable. You look at the last week for Jackson Merrill, he's got 9 hard hits, which is a healthy number, and that fly ball rate is above 50%. So he's hitting the ball hard. Average exit velocity of 94.9 is pretty impressive, while also hitting a lot of fly balls. And Tatis has about the lowest we'll accept for hard hits, 7 over the last 7 days. Granted, three barrels is pretty impressive, but look at that fly ball rate. 58% of the time he's hitting a fly ball. And when you're playing at Great American Ballpark with good weather where it's hot, it's in the high 80s, and it's already a tiny outfield, you can hit the ball kind of hard and put the ball in the air, and it's going to do a lot more damage at Great American Ballpark than it will at any other stadium. The pitcher, Nick Martinez, is pitching for the Reds. He's not a terrible pitcher, but he does give up a lot of home runs. Granted, when your home stadium, it's Great American Ballpark, you're going to give up a lot of home runs. Every 25 at-bats is not horrible, but it's definitely not good. Anything below 20 is horrible. Anything like in the 20s is okay. The fly ball rate plus line drive rate is not that bad. He's kind of equally good/bad against righties and lefties. There's really not slightly worse against righties in terms of home runs, but the barrel rate numbers are a little bit worse against lefties. So really it doesn't matter, basically, is what I'm saying, the handedness of the pitcher. We're just backing 2 guys that are hitting the ball pretty well over the last week, and have a decent line drive plus fly ball rate. And then Tatis, 21 hard hits in his last 14 days. So days like 8 to 14, Tatis was hitting it really, really well. Not quite in the past week, but he also hasn't completely slowed down, which is why I'm comfortable going with him. Machado was one guy that I considered, but 5 hard hits in the last 7 days is not great. Granted, 3 barrels is good, but Machado is somebody you want to take a lefty against, which is why I held off on Machado, and I just went with Jackson Merrill and Fernando Tatis. But that's all we got. So it's 12 guys. That's all we got. That is what we have for today. 12 guys for you guys to lock in. If you just wanted my favorite 3 and you say, hey, to heck with this spraying the board nonsense, just give me your favorite 3. They would be Matt Olson, Alec Burleson, and Willy Adames. If you just wanted to take 3, that's what I would do. But that's all we got. So 12 guys for you guys to lock in. We'll quickly do a recap and get out of here. 3 Braves guys, Austin Riley, Matt Olson, Ronald Acuna Jr. 2 guys that are red hot at the plate in Ketel Marte and Seiya Suzuki. And then a bunch of guys in really good weather plus pitching matchups in Alec Burleson and Brendan Donovan on the Cardinals, Willy Adames on the Giants, Logan O'Hoppe and Joe Adele on the Angels, and then Fernando Tatis Jr. and Jackson Merrill on the Padres. I appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe. Check out the links in the description of the video if you want to support the channel. Link to my Tails account, link to Ballpark Pal, and link to 2 exchanges where you can try and get the best odds in the book by just requesting prices. Make sure to bet responsibly and have a good one.